Hello everybody, we are the Geeks and the Giants. I am Enzo, this is my forever co-host Jom. And since the time we release this video, a month from release, it'll be a new DC movie. It'll be James Gunn's Superman. A new universe will be born, and before we get into that, we will talk about a much smaller universe. Before there was Zack Snyder's DCU or even the MCU, there was a small universe known as the Nolanverse with Batman Begins, and we're redoing this video since we did this way back when we talked about every single plot detail. So if you want a more amateur and more detail oriented video, there's that. But to the newcomers here, for your sake, Jum, were you looking forward to this in the theaters back in 05?
I don't think I was old enough to watch this in theaters in 05. I was 6, I think. Yeah, but I do remember seeing this. My brother was the one who put it on. Yeah. And my brother was the one who introduced me to Batman, and I'm just like, this guy doesn't have any powers. This guy just full on martial arts. I was like, I could be him, and I loved every moment of it. I love the Nolanverse. I love the little stories that he created, and is just turned into classics, in my opinion. Yeah, it's a really good trilogy. If you really want to, watch Batman Begins all the way to Batman Rises.
Yeah, Dark Knight Rises.
It's fucking good. Sorry, Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight trilogy. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say I wasn't really excited because I had no idea what it was about. Because I didn't know who Batman was that time. Other than the animated. But yeah, so watching this for the first time, it was eye-opening to me that I was like, this is very grown up. Oddly enough, this is too grown up. A lot of things I don't understand.
Right? Unlike the Batman animated series, it was more, I don't know, not that the Batman animated series wasn't mature, but this was a different take on Batman. Yes, yeah. Batman was always dark, but we just got through the audiences as a whole went through Batman and Robin and the Batman before that. Great Val Kilmer in Joel Schumacher's his first Batman movie, and then Batman and Robin, and so audiences for years. It was like a 10-year stretch of people being like, I don't want anything to do with Batman. So this rather newcomer Christopher Nolan's like, you know what? Yeah, I'll take on the Batman mythos. I'll carry this cross, and I agree with you. It's a pretty solid trilogy. Are there things that I wish were a bit better as a Batman fan? Yeah, kind of. Some things are more to be desired than others, but as a whole, this the prequels or any childhood trilogy I just have such fondness for the Dark Knight trilogy, and I do, even though Christian Bale is not my top Batman ever, he still has a special place in my heart as the Dark Knight. And I am not afraid to say it. I said this in our first Batman Begins video, and I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I think Batman Begins is the best of the trilogy, for me at least.
Really?
Yeah, because
yes.
Batman is the main character.
I am a little bit shocked that you prefer Batman Begins over Dark Knight.
Yeah, I mean, I love Dark Knight, but Batman Begins just says I want a story that's Batman centered, that has development of the Batman character and Bruce Wayne, because they are two separate characters. I think this is a good movie. This is the if you want a Batman centered where he is center stage of his own movie, this is it. Because Dark Knight, it's Heath Ledger's stage, and Batman is in that, but it's just overshadowed by Heath Ledger's Joker. And Dark Knight Rises, he's kind of overshadowed by Tom Hardy, but that's my least favorite of the trilogy. But
agreed.
Batman Begins is a good Batman story, and for the first 30 or 45 plus minutes, you don't even see him don the mantle.
Yeah. It's just from Bruce Wayne to Batman. Maybe not even 30, maybe an hour in, he doesn't even put on the cowl. This is a long movie, by the way.
Yeah.
This is a problem why I didn't get into Batman until I was in my teens
Mm.
was that uh, the Batman Begins movie was so fucking long. I remember I watched it as a kid and I fell asleep. And when I woke up, he was already at the train part. I was like, "Oh, damn! I missed everything."
Right.
It was a bit too long. If you're like a younger viewer,
I get that.
yeah,
And like yeah, as a kid too, I was like overwhelmed. I didn't understand what was happening. I knew I just liked Batman.
yeah,
Like years later, I've gone to appreciate how well Christian Bale plays Bruce Wayne, and I think the other choice was him, Cillian Murphy, and Jake Gyllenhaal as Batman. Um, don't know if you
Cillian
ever.
Murphy would have been crazy.
I don't know if you've ever seen that tape of Cillian Murphy. It's on the internet if you want to check it out, but it's him
Yeah,
as Batman. And like Jake Gyllenhaal has been circling the Batman rumors forever, but like I think it's right now he's a bit past like young Batman. If you want to do Dark Knight Returns where he beats up Superman, maybe, but like we already did that with Zack Snyder.
no, I would love to see Cillian Murphy as Batman, and he's just using his Tommy Shelby voice. Of course, not British, but like you know what I mean. The heavy, low, slow talking voice. I'm like, oh, I would love to hear that.
I thought you were about to say like I'm fucking Batman. You're like it's fucking weird, dude. But yeah, I love the scenes of him training with Ra's al Ghul, and as a kid, like I just knew him growing up as the voice of Aslan because I didn't watch Star Wars before '05.
Or Schindler's List.
Yeah, oh my god. But like after, like I think I saw Star Wars and then Batman Begins, and I was like Qui-Gon Jinn as a ninja, and then later on I was like Qui-Gon Jinn's the bad guy. Why? Cool
Master
though.
Schindler. Yeah, it is kind of cool. It was very fitting. This was near perfect casting for Ra's al Ghul, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like, Liam Neeson was a fucking great actor. Even though like he didn't have a lot of like big roles yet around this time.
he just yeah, Phantom Menace and Aslan and Schindler's List.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Yeah, it was like around 3, and then now he gets this, so it pretty much like skyrockets him to Taken. Anyway, but yeah, the entire training scene, I love it. I love the whole like how the League of Shadows works.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah, I want to see Batman do all that like ninja shit. He doesn't, but he kind of ish, maybe.
Again, there's a lot to be decided. Like in concept wise, you're like, oh cool, Batman's gonna be
Yeah.
a master of stealth, and you see the movie, you're like, you know what? I'll take it.
I wish they did that thing where it's like the ninjas from John Wick 3. I wish
Yeah.
Batman can do that shit where he just like vanishes into a shadow and you're like,
Right?
you know?
You're like, what the fuck is he?
Yeah.
But I do love like the fact that you don't know he's Ra's al Ghul because you think Ken Watanabe is Ra's al Ghul, and in another universe I would like to see him as the definitive Ra's al Ghul, but for him being the decoy, or like I forgot if he was even really the decoy, or Liam Neeson was just like, I am actually Ra's al Ghul, he's just like a ploy. But like through Ra's al Ghul, Bruce Wayne learns how to, in his words, like, you know how to fight 6 men, I can teach you to fight 600. You know how to disappear, I can teach you how to be truly invincible. And it's those words that you're like, alright, I'm buying it. And him battling it out with Ra's al Ghul when he's like, your training is nothing, the will is everything. That's why your father let your city down. That's why he was killed by Joe Chill. And I love the development of the Waynes too. I think this is the first one that really developed the Waynes as proper characters and not just, backstory cannon fodder.
Yeah. Like, yeah, we find out, like, yeah, Thomas Wayne was a doctor. You see that, like, he was an influence on Gotham City.
Yeah.
Gotham City was in a trajectory of, like, oh, it's gonna be better.
Yeah.
And it just plummets.
Yeah. And like you feel like out of all the interpretations of the Waynes, this feels like the most, like the ones you can really get attached to. So when Joe Chill shows up and you see the origin story. You're like, it was the first time I was like, oh man, I feel bad now, even though I've seen its origin story hundreds of times before. Like the way you build up Thomas Wayne, at least, because Martha is barely a character here, is you empathize with him. He's humanized, and when he dies, you feel that loss, and you kind of like Bruce. You're kind of like, what do we do now? I know you're going to become Batman, but how? And then you're introduced to Michael Caine as Alfred, and I think he is one of the better Alfreds. Like, I don't think there's ever been a bad Alfred, if I'm being truly honest.
None.
Right.
Like, even through Val Kilmer, through Michael Keaton, the Alfreds there were always like on point.
Yeah, they knew the assignment, and I love how soft-spoken yet firm this Alfred is. Like when he's comforting young Bruce, or when years later he's like, "Hey man, this is your dad's house. You have to look after it. It means something to him." And Bruce is like, "Why do you give a damn?" And he's like, "It's because your dad asked me to take care of you, and you're the only thing that's left of his legacy. This house is also his part of his legacy, you dipshit. So show some goddamn respect." Paraphrasing, of course.
No, that was word for word. Just hearing Michael Caine say that in that way.
A bit more English too would be nice. And like you see how this is what I mean by they get to develop Bruce a bit more. You see him struggling, trying to find his own identity, and trying to get back his old relationship with Rachel, which was, I guess, gone when his dad died. But like she's like part of the district attorney now, and they're watching Joe Chill, and Bruce plans to assassinate Joe, but he's assassinated by Falcone's men. And Bruce talks to Rachel about the broken system, and Rachel's like, "We're doing our best. Like, you can't just solve everything by firing bullets." And she shows him the ugly side of Thanos. Like, this is why we're fighting. This is why we have to be better men.
Well, this is before his training.
Yeah.
I do love that. I do love that. Like, as much as this rich boy has been hurt, this entire city is feeling that hurt even more.
Yeah.
Where they're like, she takes him under, like into the like back alleys and stuff. And I was like, yeah, they really fleshed out Bruce Wayne here in the first movie, and they did a really good job.
Yeah.
It is a shame that like Liam Neeson wasn't here for that long, but I feel like it's been needed because it gave other villains a spotlight into the other movies.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do love this whole year one phase of Batman where after burning down the League of Shadows base, he goes back to Gotham. Everybody's like, "We thought you were dead.
Yeah.
We kind of like took over the company. Oh well, I'm taking it back."
Yeah.
And he starts asking Lucius Fox like, "Hey, give me all your tech. All the things that like we didn't give to the military, give it to me. I'm going spelunking."
I love that the Batman tech was founded on some weird like military basis, like his armor's from the military, his scars from the military, and Lucius being the mind behind that. I just love that. I also love the fact that they got Rutger Hauer to be one of the antagonists, because Christopher Nolan is a big fan of Blade Runner. And why not get Roy Batty to be an antagonist in your movie?
A slight antagonist. He's just a dude in a suit.
Yeah, like a side antagonist, or like standing in Lucius's way. And of course, Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox, again, iconic. Everyone in this movie is iconic in their roles. Like Christian Bale, Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon, Michael Caine, Katie Holmes for the limited screen time she has in this trilogy, Liam Neeson, of course, just all very well casted. And I do love the fact that there is a year one feeling when Batman first dons on the stupid ass ski mask, and he's like, "You're a good cop," and Gordon's like, "What do you want from me? We need to work together." We? Who's me? No.
Looks behind him, gone. Yeah. Yeah, you can see that his skills are there, but it has to be honed. So you see him like upgrade his tech bit by bit. You see him like customizing his harness, the belt, and then you see like a whole like cowl come together. I just love everything about it, and we get like our like first main baddie, which is
Falcone.
Scarecrow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, well technically Falcone. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He beats the shit out of Falcone.
Yeah, I do love everybody be like, "Where are you?" Here.
Yeah. Yeah. Warner Bros kept showing us that fucking trailer. I remember.
Yeah. The Batman versus the Crowd wasn't as clean as I gaslit myself to be believing. I was like, I remember Nolan's fights being, oh fuck, that's messy as shit.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that. I don't know what fighting style that is. Respect to anyone who can fight like that. It's just that I was just like, oh, it doesn't feel all too practical.
Yeah. But after Batman makes Falcone his first like signal light, like that's when Scarecrow takes over to be the main antagonist for a bit. And for you and for me, for a lot of people in 05, I'm guessing aside from 28 Days Later, this is one of the first introductions to Cillian Murphy, who would later become one of the best actors working today. And I'm glad we got to see his progress from like small horror to like big budget superhero to like Oscar winning movies, and like I can't just
TV shows.
Yeah, TV shows, Thomas Shelby, all that jazz is so well done, and I'm glad to see. I was glad to be there, part of his journey. I forgot to mention we also get the first like really big Batman voice scene with him and Flash, when he's like, "Where were the drugs going?" And Flash is like, "I don't know. I swear to God, swear to me."
Yeah, but like you can see that like I love it at the start where like Rachel Dawes was about to get mugged, or like the cops were like after her, I think. Batman comes in and tases the other guys, and he kind of just has like the I have the information, you know, like he's not I have the information. he didn't fully commit yet, you know? And I kind of liked it. I liked it because it really reminded me of like the old like very anime-esque Batman TV show back in Cartoon Network.
Yeah,
he was like that. He was like, I am the knight, you know? I'm like, yeah. I thought he was gonna roll with that, but nah, he went like he kind of overcorrected in the second movie.
I love the fact that like you kind of have to spend your disbelief because it's in the rain in a crowded street, even though it's down the hallway. No one's like, what the fuck is happening? Why are people screaming? Batman just being like, do I look like a cop? Nobody can hear that. You're aside from Flash. You're like, I guess Gotham just doesn't give a shit. All right.
No, that's the first rule in Gotham. Keep your head down.
The first fight with Scarecrow doesn't go according to plan because Batman gets blasted by his fear toxin and gets lit on fire, and like they even squeeze him like a ha pun where Scarecrow's like, you look like a guy who takes himself too seriously. You need to lighten up. Just lights him on fire.
And like lights him on fire, fucking beautifully, delivered, in my opinion. I like Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow. I wish she was Scarecrow more.
Yeah.
In like the sequels and the like in the entire trilogy, because he does come back.
Yeah.
Like in the third movie.
Yeah. And I don't think Nolan ever gave a reason why of like he comes back in like different forms too. Like in the next one he's like a drug dealer now, and the next one he's like a judge, jury, and executioner for Bane. And you're like, sure, keep Cillian Murphy. Why not? I ain't complaining.
He's great.
Right?
Yeah. And then like we get our last main like baddie here, which is Ra's al Ghul, and he has infiltrated Gotham City. I do love that when he does say, "I've infiltrated Gotham City. I have everybody, like everyone." I have my men within Gotham City, like within the system. And I'm just like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
you know.
I love when he's talking about his spiel on like, "Hey man, we sacked Rome, we burned London to the ground, we sent plague rats. You really think you can stop us? Like we tried to destroy Gotham with economics, and when that didn't work, we were like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll come back and we'll finish the fucking job." And like, it is a cool scene when Batman's like, I am gonna stop you, and Raz is like, man, you haven't learned your first lesson. But like the pillar falls down on Batman. It's like, see, what I fucking tell you. And then we get the great speech of Alfred where he says the thing Bruce's dad said of like, why do we fall? So we can pick ourselves back up again. And like, I do like Alfred again being the soft-spoken mentor.
I thought you were gonna go with a quote of, "What's the point of all those bloody push-ups?"
Nolan's not known for like, the MCU ha-has, but like when he can squeeze a really good joke, he does when Alfred knocks out a member of the league and he's like, I hope you're from the fire department, because shit, I'm fucked. Oh yeah, we forgot to mention the action scene previous where Batman uses the toxin on Scarecrow and he's like, the doctor isn't here, I'm sorry, and you're like, sure.
Yeah.
And like the whole
I love the effect of the Scarecrow like toxin.
Yeah,
it is. I swear to God, if I saw that in real life, or the thing that I fear the most is jumping at me, I'm like, I would lose my mind too.
Right. And the first Tumblr sequence is pretty sick too. Like, it's not as his Batmobile is not as sexy as Pattinson's or Affleck's, but like it's a remarkably fast tank, and you're like, I like that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I do love the last action sequence. At the same time, I hate it because when the train is barreling down, the fucking main operator's like vomiting exposition that we already know. He's like, if it hits the main grid, it's gonna blow, and you're like, I fucking know that. Stop telling me this shit. But yeah, it's a great last action sequence where people are like enveloped in Scarecrow's toxin and they're losing their mind, and Batman has to come and save the day. Though there's a disappointing part when he confronts Ra's al Ghul, and he's like, "All right, I'll sick my ninjas on you," and Batman just spears a ninja and leaves the rest. He's like, "I'll deal with you never. Bye."
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the smartest way to go at it. Why waste time?
Right? And you're like, well, he is on a time crunch. And like, he fights Raz at the same time Gordon tries to blow up the bridge. And I do love, I love and hate how goofy this fight scene is when Christian Bale's really trying to squeeze in the, I'm going to stop you. You need to look out for your surroundings. And you're like, you're losing the pitch, man. I can hear you.
It's alright. Sorry, take a breather. Drink water.
But the scene forever in my mind is when he finally stops, or like foils Ra's al Ghul's plan, and Raz is like, "Have you finally learned to do what is necessary?" He's like, "I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you neither."
Yeah. He's like, the man just flies back, leaves him. Not gonna lie, I think he killed him.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, that's still you know what? Fuck it, you're Batman.
And that kills Ra's al Ghul. I really wish they kind of brought him back in some way with the whole Lazarus Pit thing, but I mean, Nolan's more of like a he came as a hallucination, excuse me, but like
I can dream.
Like, but I do know that Nolan is more of a realistic kind of director. He doesn't want to use any like super serum juju within his stories. It's very grounded, which is like weird because Gotham City felt like Gotham City here.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we got to The Dark Knight, it just became Chicago.
Right? You're like, what happened to the Blade Runner aesthetic? I was digging that, dude.
I agree. Same here. I was like, this is kind of cool.
Right?
Like the whole the train system.
Yeah.
And with like, the Blade Runner trash on the floor.
Yeah.
It's just very dystopian. I was like, yeah, I believe that this is Gotham City.
Right? I do love his end with Rachel when she's like, I thought the man I knew came back, but he never came back. He went away forever. And like, you show me your real mask, which is not the Batman mask. It's your face. The face you show the public is your mask. And I don't think I can be with you, but she kind of plants like false hope when she's like, when you think Gotham doesn't need you, come find me, and you're like, I hope that doesn't bite Batman in the ass to make him a hermit.
Yeah.
I also love the speech with Gordon when he's like, "You do you think things will escalate because, like, criminals are like, oh cool, a vigilante? What's your answer to that?" And then the answer is
He shows him like a card.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I love that. I love that. Like, I remember seeing that, and The Dark Knight hasn't come out yet,
Yeah,
and I was just like, fuck yes, I would love to see the Joker.
right.
Because he's one of my favorite things about the Batman animated series.
Same here. I was so excited, and like, even though I didn't end up not seeing The Dark Knight in theaters because again, I wasn't
You're
permitted.
too young.
Yeah, a bit too extreme. The whole pencil thing, not for kids, but
Yeah.
still a great movie. Anyway, and Gordon just goes, "I never got to thank you, and you'll never have to." Flies away with Hans Zimmer's theme just blasting. Like, up to now, I'm just like, God damn, what an amazing movie. And it still is. It's still an amazing start to a pretty great trilogy. You're like, last movie aside, like, it still holds up, and like, again, this was before Zack Snyder's DCU or the MCU, so this is all we had. The rest were like, what? Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, X-Men 3, Spider-Man 3. You're like, oh, cool.
It wasn't that great except for Batman. Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah. And like, I think, even though I think studios got the wrong notes of like, oh, we just need to make things darker, that will make it good. Like the next entry we're about to talk about, and you're like, wrong fucking lesson, man. But yeah, as a start to the Dark Knight, to a new Batman trilogy for our generation, I think this is the definitive Batman trilogy. Can't wait to see what they do in the future, but for you and I think this is like our standard, our highest standard for a Batman trilogy.
Agreed. Yeah, Pattinson's great, but he only has one movie as of right now, so we have yet to see what they like come up with. And also, since we are getting a new Superman, there will be a new Batman. It's not gonna be Pattinson, and I God hope it's not. I just like to keep Pattinson as a little.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
But I can't wait for this new Batman that we're gonna get with Superman.
Yeah.
For sure, it's gonna be a little bit lighter, you know,
Yeah.
compared to the whole 7 themed Batman movie.
Yeah. Again, we have to make them separate somehow. And again, I am still vouching for Jack Reacher, Alan Richardson to be the new Batman because I would love that.
Same. I just want Batman to tower over Superman. Yes, Superman is capable of just like flicking him to death. But I just want this dude who just like Superman has to look like that. He has to do that just to talk to him.
Right? For a man who can fly, he's like, oh fuck, wow, I feel embarrassed now. But going back to Batman Begins, what would you rate Batman Begins?
I would rate Batman Begins an 8 out of 10. It is a really damn good movie in my opinion. It is one of the best movies that came out around that time. And like it really shifted the tide of like what we expect from superhero movies.
Yeah.
Like it was a bit more grounded, it was a bit more real. It was directed by Christopher Nolan of all people.
Yeah.
You're like, the Prestige guy? Yep, the Prestige guy. Like the Batman trilogy, sorry, the Dark Knight trilogy really turned the tide of superhero movies because you're like, oh, we didn't know they could be this serious or be this grounded, and had us even more engaged within the world of superheroes because they were more human now rather than a superhero. Yes, you could say that Spider-Man did that too.
Yeah.
With Spider-Man 2, but here it was more grown up.
Yeah.
You have to admit that it was very grown up compared to what we were getting with superhero movies around that time. It is a little too long, I will say. Kids probably might sleep over this because like it is a little too grown up. It is a little too long, and there's a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
But for any old Batman fans, or you know, any if you are a Batman fan and you haven't seen this, what the fuck you doing? Watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 just because I'm slightly biased towards origin stories and slightly biased towards Batman origin stories. Like,
Okay.
again, as my favorite entry into Dark Knight trilogy, I think it's a fantastic Bruce Wayne and Batman origin story. Bruce Wayne trying to find his way in the world, and Batman starting to become the protector of Gotham that he is. Not quite the Dark Knight yet because that's another movie, but he's getting there. But yeah, Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul, Morgan Freeman as Lucius, Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon, Katie Holmes as Rachel, Michael Michael Caine as
Michael
Alfred.
Caine.
COVID's doing a number on me, man. All iconic, all will live in this generation and future generations' memories as like well-established characters. Like, the only problems I have is the fight scenes are not the best for Batman. Like, we've been spoiled with Pattinson and Affleck.
I agree.
Especially with Affleck and Pattinson, because you're like, yeah, that's leaps and bounds ahead of Nolan's. But like, the dialogue is amazing, and just the way people say things and like craft this dialogues or say this dialogue that Christopher Nolan wrote. And David Goyer wrote so effortlessly. It's amazing. Even I love how Falcone even is like telling Bruce, like, you think you got nothing to lose. Let me remind you what you have to lose. And you're like, oh fuck, even he has a point. Bruce,
Yeah.
you're out of your league. And the whole philosophy on why Bruce Wayne had to do what he did is amazing. And again, this whole era will live fondly in my heart, at least for me. And I'm sure 20 years later it still holds the test of time, and like, I can watch this. If you told me this released this year, I'd be like, yeah, I believe you. It looks like it released this year. But that's about it. To the audience watching, what's your favorite Christopher Nolan movie? Whether it's Batman Begins, Interstellar, Oppenheimer, what else is there? Memento, The Prestige, whatever it is, comment down below. If you like what you see here, please leave a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok. TikTok to see your best and funniest moments, Spotify to yours on the go. And the video Zoda's voices on TikTok and ends with Letterboxd. Where can find you?
Oh, you can find me at JobJo on Instagram. It is my account.
And until the next one, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.